Radio Now 100.9's Indy Connection with Emily Metheny.
Hello, I'm Emily Metheny, your host. If you've ever wanted to finish your high school diploma and you've never had a chance to, now is a great time to do so. The Excel Center, operated by Goodwill of Central and Southern Indiana, is hosting an orientation coming up on January 22nd and 23rd at all of their locations in Central and Southern Indiana. Jeff Hoover, he's the Senior Director of the Excel Center Network and Operations, stopped by to explain the process of how to enroll, where to find all the information, and what the Excel Center does to help the community. Jeff, can you tell me a little bit about how Goodwill is involved with the Excel Center?
Yes, absolutely. So the Excel Centers, anytime you see one, it is Goodwill Industries. And so we're part of Goodwill Central in Southern Indiana. That's headquartered here in Indianapolis. So we're really happy that 10 years ago, the leadership at Goodwill had spoken with the mayor at the time and said, hey, there's a need for adults that had not gotten high school diplomas and were wanting to get into the workforce. So there was a need. And so there was a collaboration. And from there, 10 years ago, in 2010, the Excel Centers were begun. So we're an LLC within Goodwill, but we are absolutely Goodwill.
Excellent. And so how many Excel Centers are there now?
That's a great question. So that kind of comes in different layers. Here in Marion County, we have 6, but in our Goodwill territory, which is Goodwill Central in Southern Indiana, we have 15. So we've grown from 1 in 2010 to now 15 here in 2020.
That's amazing. And where can people find where all these locations are?
Yeah, so what we would strongly recommend is to go to our website, Excel Center, one word, EXCELCENTER.org. And it'll have all of that information. It'll have it up at the ribbon up at the top. And most importantly, if they're interested in enrolling, the home page will have an Enroll Now button. So, I mean, and that'll take them through that process. So I mentioned there's 6 here in Marion County, 15 in total. But then we also have other Goodwills around the country that have said, we too have need for an Excel Center to help the adult working population get a high school diploma so they can get into careers. And so we have 16 others around the country. So just for all of your listeners to understand, it's not just Central Indiana, it's Central and Southern Indiana, from Lafayette, Richmond to Clarksville. And then we also have 3 others in Northern Indiana, which belong to the Goodwill Michiana. So there are 3 more in the state, in South Bend, Hammond, and Gary. But they're operated by that Goodwill.
Okay, so it's not just an entire state. It's broken up by where you live.
And in which Goodwill territory the Excel Center exists in. So there's technically 18 total in the state, 15 that are owned and operated by Goodwill Central and Southern Indiana.
Excellent. And so with the Excel Center, it is for adults. What does it have? Do they have to be 18 and older, or how does that work?
So it is primarily aimed at 18 and older. We are a free public charter high school. However, there are instances where local schools will reach out to us, traditional schools will reach out to us and say, would you ever consider a 17-year-old or 16-year-old? So there are a few schools where, with collaboration with the local schools, where they will say, hey, listen, we have a student that's just going to be credit deficit, won't be able to graduate on time, and we're afraid that they'll just drop out. So in lieu of that, there will sometimes be partnerships. So what I would ask for your listeners is, again, go to excelcenter.org and be able to find the location, phone numbers, either preferably stop by the school or give them a call, and they can tell you where their age limit is for each of those schools.
Excellent. And so what is offered at the Excel Center? Like what classes and the scheduling? How does that all work?
Yes. So our students earn a Core 40 high school diploma, just like every 12th grader in the state of Indiana will be this year, at least we hope. And so they have to go through the same requirements that the Department of Education has for anyone earning that high school Core 40 diploma. And so do our students. So that's what they're doing when they come. So the scheduling part is a little unique. Mm-hmm. So most schools will have 2 18-week semesters. We have 5 8-week terms. So students are attending and earning credits every 8 weeks. And then, so we also have then an accelerated curriculum as a result of that. And so it really helps to keep students engaged. Now, it's not, and in terms of the other aspects of scheduling, we're very flexible because we know we are working with adults. They have over 50% of our students already have at least one child. Many are working either full-time or part-time, and consequently, it's hard for them to sometimes be there from 9 to 3:30. So we'll have some in the morning, some in the afternoon. But a large number of our students are full-day students because they're really seeking that high school diploma to get to that career.
Excellent. And with the 8-week terms, how does that, are they able to graduate as soon as they're done with all their terms?
Yes, that's a really insightful question. So because we're enrolling students every 8 weeks, obviously that means we will have X number of students completing their graduation requirements every 8 weeks, depending when they come and how long it takes. And it depends how many credits they need when they come to us, and that varies widely. But we do have 2 commencements every year. So we'll have one next month in February, and then we have another one in June. So 2 commencements a year, but they can complete and quote unquote graduate at the end of each term. And so a lot of our students will need that to enter into the military if that's their career path, or into post-secondary if that's their career path, and some employers require it. So we honor that and recognize that. But in terms of an actual commencement, the cap, the gown, huge celebration with our students and families, because again, as I mentioned, our students, over half of them already have children. Now, this is really a multi-generational impact, right? It's not just mom or dad, our student that's graduating, but it also elevates the children and the expectations of educational attainment. So it's really cool to see that happen in our graduations.
That is really cool, just being able to see your parents receive their degree as you're either starting to go through the process, or you're in the process of your public education or whatever education you're going through. That is fantastic.
It is, and the data is really strong about once our students earn that high school Core 40 diploma, the chances of their children being a high school dropout are reduced by 50%. And so again, when I say it's a multi-generational impact, we have data that would strongly support that.
And then coming up on January 22nd, 23rd, there is an enrollment window. So what exactly is that?
Yeah, so it's our orientation. So prior to a student being officially enrolled, they have to go through our orientation. And as you mentioned, that's next week, January 22nd and 23rd. Again, I would recommend going to excelcenter.org, connecting to the school closest to them, and then they can get the specific date and time. There is that enrollment. Again, it's right there on the homepage when it's the very first thing you see. Hit that link and it'll take you through the process. Once we have that, then we can schedule them into orientation and we can go from there.
Excellent. And that's going to be before the start of the next 8-week term.
Yes, which would be the following, on January 27th, would be the start of term 4.
Excellent.
We're currently wrapping up term 3.
And because there's so many different centers, there's 15 centers throughout the central and southern Indiana, because there's so many centers and hours could vary. So they need to make sure to check back on the website to find out where they need to be.
Absolutely. And again, feel free to visit the school or reach out to them and they can give them those specific times. So something else that might be of interest to your listeners is, when you ask about the enrolling, so then what? What comes next for me as a student? Well, a few things that would be really important for them to know. It's tuition free. So there's no cost to our students to enroll or to attend. We also, as I've mentioned a couple of times already, a little over half of our students have children. We have free on-site childcare, which is a real game changer for families to be able to say, not only can I attain this high school diploma, but if I have a child or a couple children, that's difficult, that's expensive. And yet we have it there free again, and it's great because they can connect at lunchtime because mom or dad is just down the hall in class, and so that's great to keep our families together as well. We also offer transportation assistance. Here in Marion County, we use Indigo, so those would be free bus passes, so our students can use that so they can get home, school, to work, whatever the case may be, because we understand that is a barrier that could prevent them from enrolling as well. The other thing that we add on top of the Department of Education's requirements for that Core 40 high school diploma, in addition to that, our graduates also will earn either dual credits, if they're going to be going through post-secondary, through college to their career path, or an industry-recognized, in-demand certification so that they can earn that certificate for like pharmacy technician, for welding, and a variety of other in-demand jobs. So that not only when they apply do they can check the box, have a high school diploma, but they can also say, I'm certified as or certified in, which we think really gives our students a leg up in being able to help them, get to that workforce.
Excellent. And these are with small class sizes and the flexibility within it too.
That's also important. It's that personal touch. These aren't large classes. Most of our schools are about 300 in enrollment. We have licensed teachers, so they're live instructors. Another great feature that we have is that we also have another position within our schools called life coaching. And so these are folks that are somewhat similar to like a high school guidance counselor and a social worker. They're helping our students overcome any barriers that they may have, as well as providing the support to not only help them get through this high school experience with us, but also to be able to help them remove barriers so they can move forward in life. And again, our experience with the 5 8-week terms and the accelerated curriculum, the average length for our students is 7 terms, which equates to about almost a year and a half.
Yeah.
So this is not a 4-year experience like in a traditional high school. Again, we're dealing with adults here, not minors.
Excellent. And then, how has this all impacted the community with all of the availability and the removing of barriers to bring people in?
So that's an outstanding question, because with that, it just readies our students to be able to enter into the workforce, and with employers, in many sectors, talking about a shortage of workers or workers that are qualified, for us to be able to support not just those companies here in Marion County, but across central and southern Indiana. It's been huge, which is why communities are usually very excited to see us coming, because they understand that we're helping workforces and families to be able to be developing a self-sustaining wage and being able to have that sense of pride of, that I'm able to do what I want to do, right? This has been my life passion. Something happened when I was in high school that just got me derailed. But once you're in your 20s, it's sometimes hard to, there's no time machine that takes you back into your traditional high school. So they see this for what it is. They take advantage of that. So we find that our students are usually very excited. And by extension, the communities that we're in are very excited because of what we're able to do for the families and the workforce in those communities.
Excellent. And then just as a reminder, on January 22nd and 23rd, there is an enrollment window in orientation. Make sure to check out the website, excelcenter.org, to do everything ahead of time, know where you need to go, and don't forget to visit in person to your selected center.
Yes, ma'am. And all of that's on the website. It'll have locations, phone numbers. Google Map will take you to wherever it is. So if you need to find it on your map, it's all there for you.
Excellent. And do they need to bring anything to orientation? Do they need to bring like driver's license or anything?
Well, no, not specifically.
Okay.
But again, that will be in the registration form.
Okay,
it'll guide them through some of that information. And again, then we'll have people reach out once they've applied to guide them through some of those particulars.
Perfect. So you're never really alone going through this process. You always have someone helping you through.
Emily, that's a great way of saying it. Yes, ma'am. I mean, from the very beginning to the very end when you graduate, what's another unique aspect of our school is our students choose who hands them their diploma.
Oh, that's really cool.
So, that person, that teacher, that coach, or that director, or whoever it may be, our child care manager, someone that you've connected with and has really, had significance with your time with us, they get to choose them. So they come up onto the stage and present that, which is really a neat experience.
That's amazing.
It's really cool.
If someone did finish part of high school, do those credits transfer in?
They do. They do. And so one of the really important aspects of the enrollment process is for either our students to bring in their high school transcript, or at least contact us to let us know so that we can search for them and try to reach out to those schools. But that transcript will be important. We don't want students having to repeat courses because we're just not aligned. So we'll look at that high school transcript. Whatever courses that they've passed, will then be given credit, and then we move them forward from there. The only exception to that would be is if it's been a number of years since perhaps you passed that Algebra 1 class, and in part of the orientation is we kind of do a check, see where you're at mathematically and in English, just to say, all right, so where are you at? There may be times where it really benefits our students. And in fact, they would say, I'm a little rusty on this. Can I go back? So even if they have to go back and take that class, if their grade is better, it can be replaced. So if they got a B in high school and they get an A with us, then it can be replaced. But that doesn't happen too often. But it can and it does happen. And so we just want to make sure that they're prepared to get into the starting blocks, ready to move forward. Because I don't know about you or your listeners, but I'm not sure if I had to take a calculus test or an algebra 2 test right now how I would do. I know there's some rust there. And so I think anyone that's been gone for a few years from it, sometimes it doesn't hurt to just have that refresher course and then build from there.
Excellent. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Jeff?
No, ma'am. Other than, again, as I've already mentioned, excelcenter.org is a great place for them to go. All the information necessary is there. Again, there's phone numbers, or they can work through the web page itself. But we'd be really excited to see new families, new students, lives being changed, communities being uplifted. It'll be great, and so we're always excited. We currently serve, in those 15 schools, we serve 4,200 students. And so it's a large number of people being impacted. Last year we had over 1,000 graduates. And so that's 1,000 lives and 1,000 families changed. So we'd encourage and welcome anyone who's thinking about it or said, gosh, someday I'd like to go back and get it. Well, I say next week is that time. So call us or visit the webpage, and let's get started.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Thank you for having me, Emily.
You can find more information and start the enrollment process at excelcenter.org. And don't forget, the orientation is coming up this week, January 22nd and 23rd, and you can find all the information about the locations on the website. Jennifer Hashem is the Public Relations Manager for United Way. And United Way of Central Indiana serves Marion County and its donut counties. So it's Marion, Boone, Hamilton, Hancock, Hendricks, and Morgan counties. What services do you provide through United Way?
Yeah, absolutely. We provide a multitude of services. Our 4 pillars are something that I think many people are familiar with. So that's health, basic needs, financial stability, and education. And so a lot of the services and programs that we provide in our organization are centered around these 4 pillars. But recently we launched the launch of our impact funds, which was as of April of 2019, so just almost a year now ago. And those are really hyper-focused on addressing poverty at their core. So through that, we have our Basic Needs Fund, our Family Opportunity Fund, and our Social Innovation Fund.
And how does the community get service from those funds?
Yeah, so really what drives those funds are donations. So we get a lot of donations, not just from, individual donors, but our corporate donors, annual giving campaigns, our community-based organizations in our network have networks that kind of tap into what we do. But ultimately, we just really rely on our community to band with us and recognize the need in our community. So over 230,000 households in our region are at the poverty line or below it. And so when we recognize that as a need, we realized, okay, how can we be more intentional about targeting poverty at its core?
Okay. And so what have some of those funds done?
Yeah. So we launched in April, as I told you. So we're still measuring some of those outcomes. Our hope is to have some of that data, hopefully by the end of this year. But we're already starting to see some of the stories of impact, especially with our Basic Needs Fund, because that's really what our organization has been founded on. So we're really excited to see some of those stories kind of come to fruition.
And can you give me an example of some of these success stories?
Yeah. Well, what I can give you is some of the funding, I guess, opportunities, what they will go towards. Mm-hmm. So, for example, our Social Innovation Fund is really focused on accelerating some of the work that's being done in these spaces. For instance, one organization is focused on providing cutting-edge technology that's going to help with the research that they do in this space. So, essentially, any way that we can, amplify or boost that process to get the word out about their work is an example of that. Another example is a global youth program for an organization that just received funding for us that's going to be committed to helping people in the international community, specifically global youth, get the right education and language education in our region if they aren't from our state and they find themselves in the refugee or immigrant community. So those are some examples of some of what the projects are. And again, those outcomes will probably reveal themselves later this year.
Excellent. And where can people keep up to date with some of these results?
Yeah, so if you visit United Way, the website, UWCI.org, you can visit any aspect of United Way, whether that's if you want to get involved as a volunteer or as an advocate, but of course we welcome donors in any capacity as well.
Excellent. And are you active on social media?
We are. We have so many social outlets. We really encourage people to get involved that way as well. We are at UWCI on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and then we also have LinkedIn as well.
Excellent. And then going on to some of the events coming up.
Yes, I'm so excited to share. So our Young Professionals Gala, it's called Elevate. We celebrated it last year as well with a Havana Nights theme. This year it'll be held at Crane Bay Event Center once again on February 29th, and we'll be celebrating the young philanthropists of our community in 5 different award categories. You can still purchase your tickets, and we highly encourage you to do so. But in addition to that, our Winter Assistance Fund kicked off today. So that fund is really primarily focused on providing utility assistance for families in our region. For those who don't qualify for the state's low income tax assistance program, I believe. So if they do apply, or they don't apply for that, rather, they can take advantage of that. But we're also drawing for our March to Miami sweepstakes winner. We did a Colts, in partnership with the Indianapolis Colts, we launched a sweepstakes that hopefully we will pick one winner out of 10 to go to the Super Bowl in Miami this year.
That's amazing.
So that's pretty exciting. Yeah, we've got a lot going on and quite a bit more in the works, so stay tuned on our website for more info.
Excellent. And you mentioned this a little bit, but the partnerships, you've partnered with so many different other organizations in the city. How does that really impact how you can help the community?
Absolutely. So our corporate partnerships, our community-based organizations, and of course our volunteers, advocates, and donors really make up the work that we do. Our corporate partners are involved from anything from annual giving campaigns to event sponsorships, but our community-based organizations are the folks doing the good work on the ground and making sure our impact reaches the families that really need it the most. So there's so many ways to get involved, as we mentioned earlier, but we really just encourage you to visit the website for more info.
Excellent. And if people are interested in finding out about the Winter Assistance, that's also on your website, correct?
It is. Yep. There's a webpage for Winter Assistance Fund. We are also looking for volunteers for our Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. So we, in tandem with the City of Indianapolis and other community organizations, are offering free tax preparation service for individuals who make, and families who make $66,000 or less this tax season.
Excellent. Is there anything I've not mentioned so far that you wanted to hit on?
No, I just really want people to know the scope of United Way's work. I mean, we're doing some amazing work right now. There's never been a better time to get involved with us, and the best way to stay connected is really just via social media and our website.
Excellent. And then being involved, it doesn't have to be with a corporation. It doesn't have to be with your business. It can be just you, correct?
Absolutely. And we really encourage people to get involved. If you are interested in donating, we certainly encourage any donation that you're able to give. But truthfully, volunteers and passions and causes you care about. But advocacy, we've done great advocacy work, whether it was in the pre-K space. Last year was bias crimes. This year we're exploring the legislative session. I'm sure we'll have more information with more details in the future.
Excellent.
Our rally cry this year is Change Tomorrow Today. And we actually just launched that video last week, so we encourage you to take a look at our social media and check it out.
Excellent. And what's the idea behind it?
Yeah, it's really just to band the community together around the fact that we can change tomorrow today, as basic as that sounds. But when we're able to come together as a community, and again, I kind of relayed on this earlier, but just being able to connect our corporate partners, our community-based organizations, and of course our donors, advocates, volunteers, when we're able to come together, we can address poverty, and our goal really is to elevate more families out of poverty in our region.
Excellent. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I don't think so. I think that's it.
Excellent. And if people want to check out how to get involved, find out more about the programs, to get information on how to attend Elevate, they can all go to the website, which is UWCI.org.
That is UWCI.org. And then for Elevate, it's just /Elevate. And that'll take you to the microsite. We'll be announcing the finalists for each award category, hopefully in the coming weeks. And we have our judges out there already, too, so be sure to check them out.
Excellent. That was going to be my next question.
Yay.
Who it's going to be, but it's going to be
it's coming up. The judges are out there. We have award judges already announced, and they're a great, diverse bunch of people. So I think people will be really excited to see that. So
Excellent. Thank you so much.
thank you.
So if you want to learn more about Elevate or how to access any of their assistant programs, you can go online to uwci.org. If you want to reach out to me, or if you have topics that you would like me to cover, you can reach me at Metheny, that's EMETHENY at radio-1.com. And thank you for listening. Please join me again next week. Until then, have a great week.
Radio Now 100.9's Indy Connection with Emily Metheny.